This is Larry Under Pressure, and we welcome you to the channel. In this video, Larry will demonstrate how to prepare a delicious holiday sweet potato casserole. Let's head to the kitchen and get started.
Hello y'all, and welcome to the channel. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to fix a sweet potato casserole that's really delicious, inspired by Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I don't know if you've ever had their sweet potato casserole, but it's just to die for, and this is too. So let's get started. I'm going to be using the Ninja Speedy to cook this dish, but you can use an air fryer or you can use an oven, or any way that you want. You can adapt this recipe. It's real easy to do. So first of all, let's get the potatoes into the Speedy, and I've oiled the skins on them. I'm using 3. You can use 4 or maybe even 5 if they're not real big. And I've oiled the skins to make them easier to get off. And we're putting them in here with the rack on the lowest level possible so air can circulate under them. We're going to close it and let it run for 45 minutes, and then we're going to take them out and move to the next step. These potatoes have been baking at 350 degrees now for about 45 minutes. So let's check the internal temperature and see. They look like they're done. We're looking at about 200, and that's pretty good. I like to get my sweet potatoes and baked potatoes at about 205 degrees for perfect. However, these have got to sit until they cool off, until we can go to the next phase of the recipe. So let's get them out of the Speedy, and we're going to put them on this plate that I have here. And we're going to let them sit and cool for probably 45 minutes to an hour. And the reason we need to let them cool is because we'll be mixing some raw egg into the mixture after we take these out of the skins. So let's let them cool off and we'll move to the next phase. These potatoes have been sitting now for about 45 minutes and for the most part they're cooled off. So I'm going to cut them in half and remove them from the skins. Having used the oil on the skin, they'll be real easy to get out. The skins will peel right off of them and leave no residue. I'm going to go ahead and peel them, get them out of the skins and get them in the bowl, and then I'll take you with me on the next leg of our journey. I've got them all out of their skins now, and we have just the clumps of sweet potato, and to that we're going to add our ingredients. Then we're going to get the mixer out and mix them up. So the first thing we're going to put in is the half a stick of unsalted butter, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 egg that I've beaten, and a 1/4 teaspoonful of vanilla extract. And now I'll get the mixer out and we'll mix this up. I'm using a portable mixer on this. You can use a stand mixer, of course, whatever you feel better with. A stand mixer might be a little bit easier, but I just wanted to get out the portable mixer today. So let me get this kind of mixed up in here, and then I'll speed it up and we'll get it to a nice consistency that we like. It smells good. I love the smell of sweet potatoes, particularly with vanilla in them. Makes them smell real good. These turned out real nice. The cooking at about 45 minutes was perfect. We've got the eggs in there, the sugar, the vanilla, and the butter. it's ready to move to the next step. So I'll be back in just a minute and we'll move on. In the next step, we're going to use a bowl and put in our pecans. We're supposed to use, the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup. I've got about a cup because I really like the pecans, but they're chopped in the mini food processor, and I've done them to where they're not like powder. You don't want them done that well, but you want them done where they're about half the size they normally are in the package. So we're going to add the chopped pecans, and then we're going to add brown sugar. We've got a 1/4 cup of brown sugar we're adding. A 1/4 cup of flour, it's all-purpose flour, we're adding. A 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. And the other 1/2 stick of the butter, of the unsalted butter, that we didn't use in the first half. Okay, the last thing you want to do is beat this to death, but we do want to get it to where the butter and the flour are well mixed with the other ingredients. The butter I'm using could probably be a little bit softer, but I took it out when I got home from work, and it's not quite as soft as it should be. Maybe it'll soften up some as it sits here and waits. I think that looks just fine. I'm using the Ninja branded pan for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the sweet potato mixture in the pan, and I have sprayed the pan with cooking spray so that it won't stick. I don't think it would anyway, but we're going to be sure this way. And I'm putting this in there. These Ninja pans are great. They fit perfectly in the Ninja Speedy and all of the Ninja appliances except for the smallest of all of them. So they work out great. In the interest of total transparency, I wasn't pleased with how this topping had finished because the butter was still too hard. So I put it in the microwave for just about 20 seconds and it melted, and now the consistency of the topping is perfect. I'm real glad I did that. So what I'm going to do is take this pan where I've put the sweet potatoes in, the cooked sweet potatoes, and I'm going to put this around on top. And remember, I've used considerably more pecans than what the recipe calls for. So when you see that in the recipe and yours doesn't look the same as this, know that I've used a whole lot more. Again, I want to be transparent about that and let you know. We're mixing these around. I'm not sure that a whole lot less pecans would have even covered this, and the recipe calls for it to cover. So that's looking pretty good. I think we're right now. So we're gonna set up, I'm gonna go off camera for a minute and move the camera around, and we'll set up the Speedy to cook this, and I'll show you what I'm doing. We're ready to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna first of all preheat the Speedy. Let's turn it on. We're gonna cook it on 325. If you're cooking it in the oven or in a larger air fryer, you probably want to cook it at 350. But due to the proximity of the pan we're cooking it into the heating element in the Speedy, I'm going to do it on 325 so we don't overcook it. And we're going to cook it somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 minutes, but we'll check it as we go along. So the first thing I want to do is set the time for 35 minutes. And start, I'm on, we have the options of air fry and bacon roast, as do most air fryers. If all you have is air fry, that's great. If you have bacon roast, normally that does everything the air fryer does. It's just the fan runs at a slower speed so it doesn't dry things out as much. Let's put it on start, and we're going to let it preheat, and when it gets down to 30 minutes, that means it's preheated, and we'll add the sweet potatoes. We're down to 30 minutes now, so we'll go ahead and put the casserole in the speedy. Notice that I have the removable tray at the lowest possible place in the speedy so that it keeps, this is not as close to the heating element, but yet there's room underneath for the hot air to circulate. We're going to close it down. We have 30 minutes on the timer and the temp set at 325, and we'll check it again in about 10 minutes and see where we stand. We're down to 20 minutes left on the timer. So we're opening it up and checking it. It looks real good. It's bubbling around the sides, and the center's looking good too, smelling good. So we're going to close it and let it proceed on cooking. It's supposed to take 30 minutes. I don't think it's going to take that long in the Ninja Speedy, but we'll just see. Remember, it might take a little bit longer, and it should be cooked at a higher temperature. In fact, the temperature, as I told you, should be 350 degrees if you bake it in the oven. It's been a little bit over 10 minutes this time, but let's take a look. And it's looking perfect. I think the timing is going to be just about right. So we're going to let it go the additional 8.5 minutes that are still on the timer, and then we'll check it out. It's almost time. We've gone through the entire 30 minutes, and there's the beep. So it's done. It looks done, and I believe it is done. Yeah, it's done. Let's get it out of there so it can cool. These tong devices are amazing. I got them on Amazon, and I'll put a link down below in the information. By the way, the information that I put is I put it down below and type out the recipe plus purchase links for Amazon and all kinds of things. And if you go to the information down below this video and click on more, you'll have access to all that. So let's let this cool for just a little while, and then we'll serve it up and see how it tastes. Through the magic of videography, this is an incredible pork loin that I fixed in the Ninja Speedy after I fixed the sweet potato casserole you saw me fix. I'm going to have them together, so I thought I'd put them together on this plate and test them. This is the first I've tasted the sweet potato casserole. We'll put it out there, give it a taste. Sure does look good. It's finally cooled off enough. It's amazing. I fixed all of these things. Haven't fixed any green vegetable yet. I'll steam something that'll just take a minute. I fixed all this after I got home from work in about an hour and 20 minutes. Oh. That's every bit as good as Ruth Chris. Let me have another little bite. The nuts are good and crunchy, and the sweet potatoes are almost like a souffle. Really, really good. My cats are sitting here smelling it, and they want some too. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. You can do that with a little red box at the lower right hand side of your screen or down below in the information section. And also like, share, and click on the little notification button so anytime I upload a new video you'll be notified. In addition to that, I have a written recipe down there for you that'll show you exactly how this is made, and a link to several of the items that I've used in the video that you can go to Amazon and purchase them, and we get a little bit of credit for that as well, and it doesn't cost you anymore. And finally, I'll put a link in the description below for the demonstration I did on the pork tenderloin, because it's just exceptional. It's second to none. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon and see you on the next video.
You've been watching a Larry Under Pressure video production from Birmingham, Alabama.